Okay, so we're only in here for how to like stop or fix a manga that's already been yellowed. Then I will give you the timestamp. Here it is. If you want a more precise one, description, I might add chapters to this video. So, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today is going to be an updated version of how to keep your manga from yellowing. So basically, it's kind of going to be a guide on how to keep your manga pages getting yellow. So when paper starts to lose its coloring and becomes either gray, yellow, and sometimes more yellowish brown. Now, I was pretty misinformed a lot in that last video. I wasn't actually not really misinformed. I just didn't word things properly sometimes because I could only do it in one take because I didn't know how to edit at the time. Now I know how to use iMovie. So, and even then I learned that there are free editing softwares out there that are super easy to use. Plus I had an iPad that had iMovie on it. Actually, wait, no, I don't think I did actually at the time. But I think I actually might do, but still. Yeah, basically, yeah, that video isn't really good anymore. So I'm gonna make an updated one. Plus I had only a couple volumes of manga. Now I have a lot more, so I'm actually able to compare new volumes, high quality paper, low quality paper, free in ones, Shonen Jump titles, Square Enix what's it called? Yen Press, and Kodansha titles. So I'm able to compare more series to each other. But first of all, we have to talk about how manga can yellow before we can say how to stop it. So, mostly yellowing can occur, or discoloring can come from just standard wear and tear. If there's a lot of moisture from sweat or water or humidity in the air, it can absorb it and get more yellow. And that's why if you buy manga, if you're a southerner or somebody lives in near beaches and stuff, and you go to a used bookstore, even just a normal bookstore, and you look at manga, actually almost any book, you will see that the pages are a lot more yellow, and they're more bright yellow than they are. So, humidity makes manga usually more on the brighter yellow side, so it almost looks like it's kind of like pee sometimes, which it is not. Do not worry. Most of the time, it is not. There was a thing. If you watch East Coast manga, it's probably I think it's his most popular video, where he bought a manga off of Makari, and the manga volumes were super yellow. They weren't super yellow, but they also kind of were sticky. And it turns out they were covered in cat pee. So most of the time it's not that. Just be careful. Most of the time it is just humidity, especially if you live in a more humid place like Texas, Florida, obviously Hawaii. But if you live in a more drier area like Arizona, Nevada, Alaska, Idaho, or Oregon has a more humid part. Montana. If you live in a more dry state like those, where there's almost zero humidity, your pages can turn a more dark orange brown yellow, which is caused mostly by the sun and the fact that there's just almost no moisture. So it's a weird thing, and just pages, especially the type that manga uses, are so susceptible of absorbing things. They're not printer paper, they're higher quality, but they're so pulpy and like normal, like and grainy, that they're like very close to like actually like, you know, like you can see sometimes like wood that they use to make the paper. And because of that, when there's no humidity, like, you know, trees can, you know, start to wither when there's no humidity, when there's no moisture, and they don't get watered. And the same thing happens when there is too much moisture. So, since paper comes from trees, that's what happens. So, now on to actually how to avoid these two main reasons. Those are the main reasons. One, if you use a humidifier, try to move the humidifier away from the books as much as possible. Like if you're like me and your manga collection is in your room, then the best thing to do is just move it away, move it more towards a corner where the manga isn't there, more towards you, or maybe you can move your manga in a different place that's further away, or you can like move your manga to a different room if you have the ability to. Obviously, some people only have one room in their apartment, or they live with their family, so most of the rooms are occupied by them, or maybe you have roommates, you know, or flatmates, so, you know, the apartment or whatever you're living in has a whole bunch of people, or house you're living in has a whole bunch of people, and you can't just put your manga randomly there because it might get stolen or whatever. So, obviously there's that, so you can either move your manga, maybe you can put it in like a closet, or you can just put the humidifier away from it. That's basically it. Next thing, when it comes to no humidity, actually, another thing you can do is put dehumidifiers if you live in a very humid area. When it comes to humid, like for non-humid places, keep the manga away from the sun, because already since there's almost zero moisture, like adding sun is a bad thing, because it will just make it more dry. You can probably use a humidifier just on the lowest setting every now and then. Now a quick reminder, you don't have to do all of these things. Like, I'm fine with manga volumes being yellowed. I think it adds some character to them, especially if they're old books. I love, you know, the idea of like more older books, you know. It's like, I don't know, it's a weird thing I like, but I also like new books. So if you, like, I like the smell of new books, I like the feel of older books, but it depends on who you are. So I do recommend, if you like, I do recommend not doing a lot of these things, just because it's like all paper will yellow eventually. But if you want to keep your manga more pristine, because, you know, sentimental value or, you know, reselling value, totally get that. That's why I'm making this video. Another reason why they yellow is because sunlight can, you know, bleach a whole bunch of things, you know. There's a reason why if you're in the sun, you get more tan. Okay, so if you're only in here for how to, like, stop or fix a manga that's already been yellowed, then I will give you the timestamp. Here it is. But, yeah, like, the sun can bleach skin, they can bleach clothes, they can bleach, like, a lot of things. That includes manga. So if you read manga a lot outside, or you have your windows open a whole lot, or your manga is right next to the sun, like the sunlight, then your pages will most likely yellow more. And the problem is when they get sun yellowed, the pages get a lot thinner, and there's more chance of them cracking. The same thing when there's a whole lot of humidity. Can make things like this happen. Yes, my copy of Naruto Volume 27 is permanently sun bleached to the point where the logo is almost completely yellow. Same with my copy of Volume 8, it's not as bad. Some of my Naruto volumes are a little bit sun bleached, but they're not horrible. it just looks like they might have just like printed more yellow or more orange yellowish. While this volume you can clearly tell it's been sun bleached because one part is very pale yellow and one part is more pale orange. It only happens more to white paper. If paper is a different color, like if it's more gray color or it's already more yellow to begin with, then it won't like yellow as much because of the sun. And it's like if you're already born more tan or really darker skin, you don't get tanned as much because you already are tan, so the sun really can't do anything to you. The same thing when it goes to paper. Now, how to avoid that? Again, you can close your blinds more. You don't have to become a mole. Just don't have them all the way open. 2, if you have incandescent lights, well then you're out of luck, because those produce heat and they also work almost like the sun, so it can yellow manga. Now my room is weird. I have one LED light, not like the ones you're thinking about, just like LED lights, not like the colored ones, just one for a light bulb, and one that is a incandescent, but it's on the other side of the room. I mean, one side of the room is more warm. You can even see that one part of the room is more white and one is more like yellowish. That is because of the incandescent light's warmth. If it was reversed and was over here, my manga would be a lot more yellow. Next is I already said how to prevent it from yellowing. Like close blinds, move away from sun, all these other things. Another way is that they do come in box sets. You can always put them in like the box. But I know not a lot of people, most manga readers do keep the boxes, but if you are somebody who is tight for storage, like again, your living situation or whatever, then you might not be able to keep the box. So yeah, but if you do have the box and you live in an area where sun or humidity is a problem, the box set, just put it in there. It's the safest bet. Unless if it's like a Kodansha one where they just shove the volumes in a little like cardboard sleeve and it doesn't even close. Now I also have to compare which types of volumes of manga yellow more easily. So Shonen Jump Freehan ones yellow the most easily out of all of them. Shonen Jump Freehan ones are absolutely horrendous when it comes to paper quality. They're so thin and they're so easily see-throughable sometimes. I've gotten spoiled just by looking at the paper. That wasn't as bad because some of the Freehan ones I own is just Yu-Gi-Oh! Mainly. And I knew most of the plot. But when it came to Bleach, I did not know. And I was just reading it, and then I can see through, like, the page when I turn, I can see through that page and see, like, Ichigo's mom getting hit by a car. And it's like, come on. I got spoiled because the paper was thin. The ones have very thin paper. They also are normally just yellow to begin with, and they also just absorb so much moisture for some reason. Like, my volume of, like, the first Yu-Gi-Oh! Volume I had for the free ones was so yellow, it was so, like, almost, like, brownish yellow, that I literally just took a, like, black marker, made the entire thing, all the paper, on the top, bottom, side, on the top, bottom, side, all of them black, because I'd rather have a random volume manga that has black paper than one that doesn't. And mine doesn't really look great because, you can see that I used marker. But, it's kind of reminiscent of something like the Death Note Black editions. So if you like their presentation, you can do that. Some volumes of manga randomly have weird paper colors, like the, like I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Vampire Hunter D, I think. Its manga has orange, purple for the first one, and then it goes to just white, which is weird. But yeah, when the books are colored, which is very normal for some Japanese books, will do that. They usually are like harder to yellow. So then there is Kodansha Korean ones, which they have a better paper quality. It's just that the type of paper they use is 10 times more pulpy and like grainy than others. So again, the same thing happens when since they're more like wood, they suffer more from any kind of moisture or like sunlight and heat a lot more than the less pulpy textured paper of some other manga releases. Press, Vertical Comics, Dark Horse, Shonen Jump, Kodansha, Yen Press, Square Enix, Seven Seas, even Tokyo Pop. Just the standard volumes of those yellow pretty like often, but it usually takes a while. If you have a new, like I have several volumes of Naruto that I bought in 2020, actually not 2021, and they're only a tiny bit yellow. They're more grayed, which is basically a similar thing. Usually when they start the yellowing process, they start to turn gray, but usually it's still fine at that stage. So my Naruto volumes I bought in 2021, they have barely yellowed. I have a volume of Pokemon Adventures, actually 2 of them, from 2020, barely yellowed. The first volume is only like a tad bit gray, which means it's barely started the yellowing process. One Piece volumes, which I got like, yeah, in 2021 as well. I think I got longer ago, they've barely yellowed. So those volumes, like I even had like several Kodansha volumes of Silent Voice. I only had like 2 of them in like 2021 as well. They didn't yellow, even though I brought some of them on like a car trip. It was in the sun, and I read them like in a car, like a lot of times. So definitely in conditions where they could yell a lot. Plus when I got them, it was really hot, so we used humidifiers, also fan to cool things down. So it's been through a lot. Never yellowed at all. Pristine condition. The Viz Big / like special editions, like the Pokemon special editions, things like that, which I guess Viz Signature could also fit into that. So for something like the Viz Bigs, which I don't have anymore, I sold my Dragon Ball ones because, well, I bought the entire Dragon Ball series. I haven't bought Z yet. I might do that eventually. Dragon Ball Viz Bigs I had them for a while. I have sold them only like last year. Yeah, last year. Never yellowed. Even though I bought them on car trips, I literally read them in the sun. Nothing. And the Pokemon special editions and like Viz Signatures, their paper quality is a lot more like matte paper. Viz Signatures, they are like just straight up matte paper, so they do yellow, but they're a little bit more thicker. And the Pokemon special editions, they have like kind of like a glossy coat on the top and bottom of the pages, so they don't yellow as much. Then we have the like Full Metal editions, like collector's editions and stuff. So basically, it's definitely examples that I actually do have in my collection. The Full Metal Alchemist Full Metal editions and the Soul Eater Perfect editions. Good. I've had the Full Metal edition since February of 2022. Not even grade. and I've brought like several volumes of Fullmetal Alchemist to school. They have never once yellowed, which is impressive beyond belief. The fact that how much times I've reread that series. Like, I don't have all of them, but like anytime I get a new volume, I should reread the whole thing, then read through that volume. It's a video. I'm gonna have to cut a lot of parts out from the previous ones because it's a lot of me ranting. So now it is how to prevent your manga from yellowing, and I'll probably add a timestamp in the beginning of the video. So I can't demonstrate a lot of them, but there are two great videos by Andrew Sundoku, I think. I'll leave the videos in the description so you can see them. You can either like color them like I did, paint them black, or any other color. Do not use actual paint. Use markers or colored pencil, preferably. Do not go really rough because then you can get the inside of the pages. You can also like hurt the pages. You don't want to soak them, obviously, so don't do that. Another way is to take sandpaper, lightly scrape the yellow off, and it will make it more white. Now this is where I very much encourage you to watch those videos in the description. Do that because I cannot demonstrate, and I have not done it before. So yeah, don't just listen to me, because I think if you go back and forth, you can ruin the paper. I believe you're supposed to go with the grains. You're supposed to go like that way. They do a little this way, they continue, and then start over if it's still a little bit yellow. Again, don't try it until you've seen the actual videos in the description. It's kind of like a last resort. If they're starting to gray, if you want to, I like to have my manga a little bit more close to like the beginning of the shelf. Not like all the way pushed up, but like, you know, like at least like an inch away from the shelf. I don't like it having it all the way in the back because I've learned that it pushes the back of the shelf, especially if you want them to be perfectly aligned. So you can push them very further in the back to where like there's no light hitting the paper. So that's another way if it's in the graying and it's getting gray, because then it will lead to it being yellow. Another way, if it's getting into the graying process, dehumidifiers, blackout curtains, or just closing the curtains, an absorbing shelf color. Like, I use black shelves, one because I like the aesthetic more, plus my dresser is black, and I already had a black shelf in here, so it just made it more easier to switch all the shelves to be black. But also, it absorbs more light, meaning that the manga usually is not having the light being absorbed. It is the actual shelf. So yeah, switching into a black shelf, dehumidifiers, blackout curtains, just closing curtains, there you go. Again, with the sandpaper one, do not try it at home, like until you've seen the video. It's not my video. I'm not promoting, like I'm not trying to promote anything. I'm just saying it's one of the few videos on YouTube that I found like that, and so I suggest watching it before you do it. This is a huge disclaimer. I don't want to be responsible for you ruining a favorite volume of manga for you. So yeah, that's gonna be it for today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. It's been a wild ride. By the time I upload this, I'll probably be well into school. Yeah, it's been a wild ride from copyright stuff, like doing some more gaming stuff. So yeah, after that copyright video, And then thinking about it, I'll upload this video because it'll be a little bit more easy to edit. And then I will remake the Soul Eater video because I'm just decided that I'm going to just redo it and just say, I'm sorry I can't include anything besides showing the manga covers I have, or maybe showing you a page, or like fan art, because I don't want to get copyright striked again. Well, not striked, it was claimed. Hopefully you've seen the video. So yeah, it's been a wild ride. By the time this video is uploaded, I'm gonna be in school. So yeah, you can probably expect lesser uploads, and also some videos that you might have liked, or if you've watched me from the beginning, are privated. And that's because I don't like to have my cringy older videos, and also just because I think it makes it easier if the videos that are getting pushed to people are not older videos that I no longer make and will not make anymore, and are the ones I will actually make, like more gaming related or like anime related. So yeah, this video's been a little bit long for a tutorial. I probably will have to put in the beginning that if you just want to know how to stop it, or the reasons why, I'll leave timestamps. So I hope you guys did enjoy. Again, the upload schedule it's already been horrible, but it might get a little bit worse. Hopefully it won't. Hopefully I can balance school and YouTube. Also learning an instrument, but I'm like somewhat self-taught. I just use YouTube, so hopefully it will work. So see you on the next video. Bye.